Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sound Podcast channel. I'm your host, the HOD of the PSP, and we're coming to you, of course, straight after the Southampton versus the Liverpool game that ended in Southampton defeating Liverpool 1-0 at the St. Mary's. Like, share, comment on this video what you thought of this result. Subscribe to the channel, of course, enable notifications to receive all match recaps and all the updates on this channel, and of course follow us on social media. I'm at PSP on Twitter, page Sideboard on Instagram, as well as listening to the podcast tomorrow on Spotify, Google Podcasts, or wherever you can get it from as well. So this is a disappointing game for Liverpool on the back of two disappointing performances against West Brom at home and then Newcastle away. Another game away, the second loss this season, you can name it, but I think in my opinion the biggest takeaways are three from this. First of all, Liverpool need a rest. They need a rest, simply put it, they need a rest. Second takeaway, Jurgen Klopp I think made a couple of mistakes in this game, and starting by the selection of the squad, the selection of the lineup, I think it was wrong from the beginning. Starting with Thiago and Wijnaldum and basically starting a 4-2-3-1 playing with Oxlade-Chamberlain as a number 10. He didn't do much in the first half, that's why he was subbed early in the second half, and if you needed a sign of how bad Liverpool have managed their game, of how Jurgen Klopp managed the game badly, he took out Chamberlain in 56 minutes, so that is all you need to know. So when you're starting with that midfield, you're giving yourself no chance to defend, no chance to press Southampton, who, decided to change their style of some sorts against Liverpool. They knew that if they open themselves a lot, if they're going to be playing the normal style that they played for most of this season so far, they will be conceding 4 and 5 goals probably, because Liverpool, as ineffective as they looked in the last couple of games, if you give them the chance, they will still score somehow. But Southampton played smartly, starting with a 4-4-2, not playing very deep, but still playing deep enough to close down the spaces on Liverpool, not give them the chances. I mean, Liverpool seemed so ineffective and so repetitive. That is even worse, so repetitive. They were repeating the same drill over and over and over, like moving the ball from one centre-half to another, then to Robertson or Trent Alexander-Arnold, depending on which side they were playing on. Then you moved it to Wijnaldum and Thiago would try to pick a pass towards Salah would shoot and fail, mostly in this game. They would do it with Mane on the other side. And I noticed something that Firmino, and that is my third takeaway, it seems like Liverpool now have basically hacked themselves, because Firmino seems in the last couple of games, and I noticed it quite a lot, that he drops really wide. We know that he drops centrally. I mean, it's a common thing for Firmino to drop centrally and play as a fake 9 and a false 9, or even a number 10 really. But it is different when he drops wide, because you're leaving yourself with no options in the middle. And against a side like Southampton, who are playing, very compact with that 4-4-2 formation, you need someone central, because you need the movement to pull defenders out. And you're not pulling defenders out, because when your supposed striker, is not making movements central, you will simply end up without spaces to move. You will simply end up with no spaces to cross, which is something they did over and over, despite having no centre forward pretty much in the box for most of the game. And when you have two towering centre halves in Bednarek and in Jack Stevens, you will never get in crosses any day of the week. Again, Liverpool seemed so repetitive and seemed so distracted, and again the midfield structure was so wrong today. If you're taking Milner out, if you're subbing Milner in for Alexander-Arnold instead of subbing him for, say, Thiago, who wasn't that good really, Wijnaldum, maybe you're subbing one for, if you want to take Oxlade-Chamberlain, off, you're probably subbing Milner then for him. I know Shaqiri needs game time, but obviously I think the management from Liverpool in this game and Jurgen Klopp didn't seem really apt, and the defensive mistakes, of course, with the replacement of Matip being Henderson this time instead of Nathaniel Phillips or Reece Williams, with Fabinho. The first goal, I think, is the proper example of how Henderson is not that experienced when it comes to being centre-back. Fabinho has already grown, I think, at that position, but Henderson, he cannot do it, man. The goal was simply outrageous in terms of defensive. It was marking mistakes all day long. Jordan Henderson broke the offside trap. He moved at the wrong time forward and gave Danny Ings the of course enough of a onside position to score a beautiful goal. I mean, Alisson, no responsibility whatsoever for that goal. Southampton had a couple of chances in the first half. The second half, more or less, it was all Liverpool, but still, again, as I mentioned, because of that wrong structure of the defence, they were leaving themselves quite open at a certain position and certain situations, which allowed Southampton to move and find the passes behind the midfielders and behind the centre-halves who were really caught and were playing really high, as well as the fullbacks, naturally, who play really high, especially Robertson down the left-hand side. And they found certain situations where they almost scored and they almost made it work, and in the 85th minute they almost had the KO in that game very late by Yann Valery, who took advantage of Alisson mistakenly timing his run out of the goal and almost went in, of course, if not for Jordan Henderson clearing it off the line. Liverpool, basically, to sum up this game, they took 75 minutes to have their first shot on target. That is how ineffective they were. At least against West Brom and Newcastle, they had actual big chances. But 75 minutes to have your first shot on target is quite bad for a team that is supposedly the best in England, the champions of England, and a team that is, tipped to give that title again and to defend it. Recommendable performance from Southampton defensively. They did what they had to do. They took the chance, the one big and really chance they had all game to score the only goal. They could have had more, but their decision making sometimes lacked composure. It seemed like they were settled for the 1 lead and they wanted nothing more than that. And they took the victory, of course, from Jurgen Klopp, which put them 4 points now behind Liverpool at the table, alongside, of course, Everton and Manchester City. It's a close race now in the top of the Premier League. Liverpool freezing at 33 points ahead of big games coming, of course, in the FA Cup as well as the Premier League. The game against United is looming in the horizon, and the signs are not good for Jurgen Klopp. Something needs to be fixed at Liverpool. For Southampton, again, they're back, I think, to their good form. By changing and tweaking their style, they still could get something decent out of this season. Again, probably European places would be very, very big achievement for Southampton. The Alpine club in Ralph Hasenhüttl defeated the original Jurgen Klopp. That's it for the match. Like, share, comment on this video, subscribe to the channel, of course, enable notifications to receive all the updates of these match recaps, the podcast and other content on this channel. Follow us on social media. I'm at SidePSP on Twitter, PitchSidePod on Instagram. Follow us and listen to the podcast, of course, on Spotify, Google Podcasts or any other platform. I was your boy, the HOD of the PSP, and until the next time, I'll see you soon. Goodbye.